Welcome to Let's Start a Band podcast. We have an amazing guest, a man I've had the pleasure of seeing live, an absolute incredible musician here this week. This podcast is all about artists. We're going to give you the news that no one talks about, the things that you need to know, and we're going to have a lot of fun doing it. Today on the show, we have Pau Walters. I'm so excited to have you on, and we're going to start things with the musicians. Would you rather? I'm going to ask both the guys what they think. Guys, would you rather have a one hit you hate or no hit but you love all your songs?
Second.
What's up?
Um, Somewhat having a song that I hate.
Would you rather a sync deal in an advert you hate or stay broke but have your integrity?
Number one.
Oh, I think you're doing a lot of correct answers, and Westall's going to give a lot of incorrect answers.
Depends what the award votes for.
Would you rather be paid well to
Well, yeah,
support or lose money headlining?
Can you say it again? Sorry.
Would you rather lose money headlining or be paid well to be a support act?
Two. Yeah.
And would you rather be called an industry plant or a one-hit wonder?
Either is pretty bad or pretty good, depending. If I'm getting called an industry plant, I made it.
That's a
So,
compliment.
but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, Sochi's been called an industry plant, and look at her. She's taking it well.
I think there's worse things to be called. Westwell, what do you think?
I think I'd rather be called an industry plant. It's a bit of hold your own, haven't you? Like, you still got to have some talent, and yeah.
Yeah, at least you've got a career, The one-hit wonder is the one,
Val, we want to come on and talk all about yourself, maybe. We want to look back, uncover some of your artistic roots and where this all started. Obviously, we want to talk about the tour coming up as well. Who are your heroes growing up? Who did you have on the walls at home, on your screensaver, people that shaped your music?
I mean, mostly a big one for me is Kendrick Lamar, as you can see I've got over there. Still got the posters. And yeah, just like a lot of rappers, to be honest, like Jay-Z, Eminem, kind of the obvious choices, isn't it? But yeah, then it evolved into other stuff, into listening to more music, into listening to more underground stuff, or more classic hip hop, Tribe Called Quest, De La Soul, learning about producing. But yeah, mainly a big one for me was Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, of course, like the ones of my era, kind of.
Out of those two, who do you think's more talented?
I mean, it's Kendrick.
If you were stuck in a elevator with Kendrick, you can ask him one question. What would you ask him?
Can I get a feature?
Correct. Correct answer.
Answer.
I absolutely love that. What would you say is the most personal song you've put out there, Pal? And is it scary to share that with the world as a musician, or are you excited?
Well, as a very underground musician, it's not too scary right now. It was scary at one point, but it's not too scary anymore because once you put it out and you realize, about a few hundred people are going to listen to it, it's not going to be a big deal. You kind of lose that fear, don't you? I guess my most personal song, I've got one that's called Forgive Me. It's not really personal because it's not about me, but it's about situations I've seen or situations. It's kind of storytelling an abusive household of sorts. And yeah, it's just situations. I haven't lived that personally, in my family, but I do have a lot of people around me who've gone through that.
Yeah, and it's obviously a very personal thing to put out there from their end, and talking about topics that maybe is quite tough to talk about at times, but
Yeah.
it's important that it is. Well, what's one thing you wish more musicians knew about making it in the music industry? As you said, you're at the start, you're still coming up, you're still learning your craft, but what's a common misconception?
I think people, at least now that I'm starting to I'm living off of music. I think just to understand it as a job and really view it that way, because a lot of us, including myself, the first 5 years or whatever. You're just kind of like bumping from one place to the other and just kind of seeing what works. And yeah, just like if you stay home and rehearse, it will really pay off basically. And if you take it with that mentality of like just work, and if it doesn't work this time, it'll work another time. If it doesn't work this time, it'll work another time.
I can't
Oh,
agree more. Like people think talent is enough, and
talent ain't
I
nothing nowadays.
no, I don't skip. But I would love to be proved wrong. Let us know in the comments. But I don't know any artists that just have talent. They work their ass off every day, and people think it's an overnight success and isn't. So it's very interesting to hear. I love the Kendrick poster in the background. Retro, really, really cool. Westworld, do you have any questions about?
Yeah, absolutely. Bear me 2 seconds. We should talk a bit about your influences and sort of listening to music, especially like, when you first listened to artists like Kendrick and stuff like that. At what point was it for you that you thought, actually, I want to give it a go? Was it you were listening to music first and then you were like, oh yeah, I want to do this? Or is it something that was more natural with you? Did you grow up playing music, those sorts of things?
Yeah, well, I actually had a bit of classical training, so I played guitar in school. And then I dropped out because I wasn't very interested in music per se. I just kind of, I mean, I was, but it wasn't like I was, I didn't want to be a musician at that point. It was just kind of, I would go to guitar lessons and learn a bit of guitar, and that's it. I didn't take it too seriously. I think the thing for me was I had a party trick that I could like rap really fast and it would impress all my friends basically. So I could just go to like, I would do like this Eminem verse and people would just be like, oh, you can do it, and it would be like a really cool party trick for people. And people for years were telling me like, why don't you rap, dude? Like, why don't you make some stuff and this and that? And I was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't have that much. I mean, I like listening to rap music, but I wasn't a huge hip hop fan at that point. I wasn't like super into it. And then I don't know, something I think, yeah, that's why I mentioned Kendrick a lot, because like listening to his like to Good Kid, Mad City, or listening to an album like that, I realized that albums could be more of like a storytelling experience,
Yeah.
more of a beginning, middle, and end to it. And that was crazy to me, because before I didn't even know like concept albums existed. I was just like listening to music, I guess, like everyone else, just okay, this song, oh, this song, this song, and that really changed the whole thing for me, because I was like, oh shit, so you can actually like make it seem like a film, like you can kind of make a film with sound,
Yeah.
and then that really got me like excited about music in general. So I just started listening to like, a lot of music after that, a lot of hip hop music mainly. But yeah, then that evolved into listening to more different styles of music and different genres and whatnot.
Amazing. How do you show, obviously, how does, you mentioned a bit about like the idea of like conceptual albums and stuff like that. How do you, what is it outside of music that inspires you? Because I know so many conceptual albums are inspired by, literature or film. Is there anything that you find yourself going to, or is it something more in the real world, or how do you?
Yeah. I love cinema as well. I've always like loved audio. I mean, I'm an AV tech, but kind of because of that, because I just love anything AV related. I was very into video games, I guess, as most children are. Just video games, TV shows, movies, all that. And then I like living life, like just, I like diving a lot. I like traveling. I love performing, it's just one of those things that I think everything inspires me one way or the other, like I mentioned, that song is just kind of, I do like to take a lot from other people's struggles, I guess, because lucky me, I don't have that many struggles in life. So I just like to kind of pull from that stuff. Obviously I've got my struggles, but I'm hoping to save that for when I release like a full big budget studio album.
Yeah, definitely. And funny, this is an underground artist. How much does that give you freedom to be experimental? How much? Because underground has such, like anything underground has such like a strong ability to just be free with it and experiment and almost mess around and have fun with different ideas and things like that. Is that something you really lean into, or is it something that you want to explore more, or just how much of an influence does that have?
Yeah, well, actually, right now, I do want to kind of lean more into being more experimental, more underground. But you know, also for me, experimenting for a time was trying to make pop songs. You know what I mean? Because I was just so used to making like, you know, underground hip hop, which is super mainstream. You know, like depending on which artist, an artist could sound really underground and be hella mainstream, right? But yeah, to me right now it's just like it's full experimentation. It's always been like that. I've got a mixtape series. That's kind of the whole point of it. It's called, I've got the first one released. It's called Avant Garde, and it's called that because I'm just basically trying all different styles of hip hop that I can kind of produce and make for myself and do all that. So experimentation was always a huge part of it for me because it's just, you know, that's how you learn and that's how you discover things in life.
Yeah, amazing. 100%.
Amazing. Right, we're going to jump straight into the music news and what's been happening. Apparently, K-pop is in its 5th generation. This generation is hyper polished, high choreographed, internet engineered idols. A lot of it is actually self-produced. A lot of it is fan participation and cross-performing storytelling, and that's actually something we're seeing across the music industry. It's really interesting K-pop, isn't it? Because I feel like, you know, I'm very open to a lot of genres, but in this little bubble, and K-pop is really starting to go mainstream. They're selling out huge shows in the O2. They're becoming very mainstream as well. Yeah, very, very interesting. We've also got coming on to the next point is iconic music videos. Have we seen the best of music videos? Are they falling out of popularity, or is it something that's going to come back? I mean, I remember in my day looking at things like the Foo Fighters or Green Day, you know, with American Idiot, like all of these iconic music videos. Pal, as an artist yourself, is it something that you think is dying out and will continue to die out, or do you think it's going to have a really strong comeback at some point?
That's a big question right there. 'Cause I personally struggle with that because I love music videos. I mean, I love I mean, I won't say I've directed my music videos, but I have had like a huge part in the script making or, you know, kind of developing the ideas. And, you know, as I love cinema and I love all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so I'm really into that. So I do think music videos are dying out as a concept, but I mean, it's just content now, isn't it? So at the end of the day, what do people do? They grab their music video, they split it up into 20 shorts, and they post that, and that might go viral, and then people will check the music video. I think there's certain artists that can afford to still make music videos and it's good for their brand. And that's just going to be that way always. And there's certain artists that are just going to do like as myself. You know, I do music videos, but it takes a huge toll on my budget. So I'll try to squeeze as much content as I can out of it.
100%. And I feel like
Just underground artists will do. Sorry.
no, I absolutely agree. And for me as a visual person, if it looks good, it sounds better. And I think it's an amazing thing for seeing inside an artist's world and how they see it, creating that world to jump into. I think it's a really important thing that I really like seeing artists do. But as you said, it's very content led now. I remember OK Go, this band who would have like they'd purposely make their budgets like £50 and do the most outrageous thing like on treadmills and all sorts. But it was genius, and I bought into the band from that and still listen to their music now. I feel like it's a big point. Westwell, I want to come to you now. Arctic Monkeys are rumored to be breaking up. They're going to release one more song for charity called Help. There's no official confirmation. A lot of people are saying it's a PR stunt from their team, but others are saying it's very intentional and very Arctic Monkeys if they were going to break up, almost like a Beatles walking away kind of style. Thoughts, feelings?
Yeah, I guess in a way I feel like they've already broken up. You know, like there was such a hiatus between like AM and then Tranquility Base. And what is it, like 5, 6, 7 years? It's quite a while. And I might be way wrong with that, but I just felt like they've kind of already gone through that. And then obviously Alex Turner does a lot of his own sort of stuff anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. And I think it's kind of fair enough. They've had a long career.
They don't owe anything to anyone by any means, but I think a lot of fans would be upset from that. And a lot of people saying that it's an Arctic Monkeys thing now, where they go away for 5 years, they come back, they go, and there's a bit of a pattern there. I don't know.
Would the fans be that upset, really? Because let's be honest, most Arctic Monkeys fans like them for their old music,
Mm-hmm.
and I think very few of them like the new music. And I think if they kind of so I think for a lot of fans, they've kind of already gone. But I could see them breaking up and then maybe 10 years later coming back and releasing another album. I can see that.
I think a lot of people hold on to the hope that another AM would come out, or another, whatever people say on that song, proper, more kind of guitar music. But it seems like the band are past that. They're moving on in life. They're older now. They're not teenagers going out in the town, are they?
No, I could imagine them breaking up and Alex Turner releasing a few like solo projects or like, the third last Shadow Puppets album. That would be cool. But I can't see them. Don't even need to break up. Just
Disappear.
drift off. Just disappear. Right out to the sunset.
If it is the way they're going to end, doing it in a charity single, like the Beatles doing the Rooftop, very intentional and quite rare, I think, at times.
Yeah. And I think it's also nice to see like a band like split up without sort of massively falling apart. I mean, maybe they have behind the scenes, who knows? But like, I certainly haven't heard anything that like just to say like, do you know what? This is it, and this is it, and we're off. We're off.
It's one of those things that normally come out a while later. Like you look at Catfish, had this reunion, they were cancelling shows last minute, apparent fallouts behind the scenes. I feel like that's something that we don't know anything about now, but in a few years' time, and in an autobiography, we'll find out. So
maybe I can't imagine it.
we'll see. Anyway, right, we are going to go on to the fan questions. We've had a lot in. Tanya has asked, Westwell, who is the best guitarist of all time?
Careful.
I have a very honest answer with this one. But I would like to know who you would say as well.
Do you want to go?
Let me think. Give me 2 seconds.
Pau, jump in.
I have serious opinions. I have.
There's going to be arguments. Right,
name.
I'm going to jump in and I'm going to give you mine. I think he is unbelievable, and it is Johnny Marr from the Smiths would be my top. And I admit it's probably biased. I admit, is he probably the most talented? You look at Hendrix, look at all these names. I have no data to back it up, but for me personally, especially watching him live, my jaw hit the ground. Pal, who are you choosing?
So I've got 3 in my head, but as
We asked one. We're asking for one.
I know, but I'll tell you. I'll say I think the best objectively of all time is Paco de Lucia, which you've probably heard about down there, up there, better said. But yeah, I think my favorite is Nile Rodgers.
Oh, it's a shout.
It's just different things, It just depends on what you want. That's my thing as well.
I had the pleasure of doing some content with him.
No.
And I've never met a man with more awe in my life. Normally, when you see these big artists, they have, teams behind them, security, this and that. He was sat down on this little box at a cup of drink, and he looked so cool. I just can't explain. You can't explain aura. You can't.
He is a genius.
He had it. I don't know what it was.
I saw him live here. I was working at one of his gigs, and I got to see him live, which was insane.
It's a pleasure, isn't it? And who's your third out of curiosity?
Yeah, it was going to be Hendrix. It's one of those 3. So, choose out of those.
I have a sneaky suspicion Westwell might say Hendrix.
I was going to say Hendrix, but I'm actually going to go with, is it Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits?
Yeah.
I think some of the solos, it's just so cool, so like chilled out, but like just so like, it's just iconic. So yeah, if just to pick someone different, because I think.
Do you know what? If I was going to go for a real modern name, King Cruel, I think is vastly underrated in this area. I know some really good artists, really great guitarists who struggle to play some of the songs that he plays live.
Yeah, he is. That is a great shout, actually. Yeah. Out Getting Rubes. I think that's what the one that's famously difficult.
Unbelievable. We've got a question here from Tony asking, Westwell, you talk about merch a lot on the podcast. If you were going to bring out some Westwell merch, what could I expect? Maybe there's demand for it.
Do I talk about merch a lot?
According to Tony.
maybe I should talk about it more. I'd want to do a collab with Birkenstocks.
Mm. And what would happen?
Just
What
good.
would the club look like?
Well, I don't know, mate. You'll have to wait and see, won't you?
So it's going to happen, is it?
That's gonna happen.
I think a few weeks ago we were talking about clever ways independent artists can leverage merch. One of a
Yeah.
kind stuff from charities and this and that. I'm guessing Tony likes some of your ideas there, but you would do a big collab. I've seen some independent artists do some clever local ones. And the last question this week is from Beth asking, Westwell, out of all the musicians in the world, who is your celebrity crush?
All the musicians.
Mm-hmm. So they want an
Uh.
artist.
Because I've got actor easily.
That's not the
It's
question.
Jacob Elordi is a handsome man. Artist wise, I still think, to be fair, Serge from Kasabian.
Unbelievable.
He's a cool bloke, isn't he? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think he's ever had an outfit that misses. It's unbelievable.
No, unbelievably well dressed and just a cool guy. And like a rock star without being like a knob as well, which is quite nice.
And this is one of my favorite questions I think we've ever had on the podcast. So this is brought in from someone called Beth. Hi guys, absolutely adore the podcast. As a musician myself, what do you guys think is gear that I should cheap out on, and what gear should I splurge on as I'm in a new band? Oh, what a question that is. And there is so much, Pal, as an independent artist, from monitors, headphones, vocals, amps, cables, pedals. I mean, there's such a long list here. For both of you, I mean, Wes, where you've been in bands, what would you cheap out on and what would you splurge on? Pal, I'm going to come to you first.
This is such a hard question. I guess it would just depend, right? It depends on what you want to do. Because for me, the first thing, the main thing I would get if you're starting out is get yourself a laptop and how do you call it? A sound card, something that will digital to analog converter. I would splurge out on that on a laptop or computer that is going to work.
Mm-hmm.
If that's your goal, if you want to master an instrument, splurge out on the instrument. Basically, it's worth it.
I've got a cheap out one, and I would say in-ear monitors. I've had some of the best in-ear monitors I've had have been the cheap ones and not the expensive ones. Westwell, what are you thinking?
I would say, if you're gonna, I was assuming like if you're in a band or something like that, and you're gonna be playing gigs and stuff like that, I wouldn't go out and buy a really expensive guitar or anything like that. Especially for guitars, just buy something that you're comfortable with.
Pedals are expensive though. If you're looking at pedal boards,
I would say again, yeah, with pedals, like get some pedals that you like the sound of. And if I was going to say, oh, you've got a few £100s to spend, would you spend more money on a really expensive guitar, or would you buy like quite a decent guitar that you're comfortable with, get that and save the money and buy some nice pedals? Because if you're playing with no pedals, it's going to sound so much worse. You're just going to have less freedom and less ability. Like get a few pedals and stuff like that. If you're an artist and you want to start recording, then I completely agree with Pau. Like just get a laptop, get an interface, a decent one, and maybe like a decent mic. But again, you probably don't need to go crazy. Tech these days is quite advanced. Technology's really come on a little bit, and it got 2026, you can get some decent equipment that will at least be able to throw a few demos together, sort of no problem.
some of my favorite tracks of mine have been the original demos. These artists we've spoken about today, like the original ones back then, that raw sound, you can create that in your bedroom. And it's sometimes I think it's quite refreshing it not being overmixed, over mastered, and I'm feeling that. Pal, you've given us some bits to splurge on. Is there any equipment you would cheap out on that you think does a job?
Yeah, I'll show you guys the equipment. So I got myself some wireless jacks. I got these on Temu, and I mean they've been going around for 3 months, and this was like €20. Well, you won't find any brand name that's €20 wireless. Hey, for me it's working fine. And I do want to say, Josh, on what you were saying, I do think that the gear thing is a bit of a scam, because we're told all the time buy gear, buy gear, buy gear, buy gear. And it's like you said, like some of the best albums have been recorded with people just like doing whatever the fuck they got,
Mate,
the fuck they've got around, and that's what makes the album classic. Kind of. I mean, what makes the album classic is the talent of the artist and all that, but also that situation, right?
I was sat with BBC Introducing recently, and they have thousands of people entering their music every single week, and we were listening through, and they won't listen to whole songs. There's not enough time in the day, so they'll see the intro, maybe a bit of the chorus, and I was sat there track after track after track, and genuinely looking back at that, the ones that really stuck up to me had a real raw, authentic feel to it, and they weren't overproduced, overmixed, and I think that I don't know. It's all about standing out for me a little bit. And I know if you go away, I remember leaving that session and there was two tracks that stayed in my head. And whether it was just the chorus or the first line, and later on I've gone and then added the playlist and it's the rest of the songs and it's hooked me in to go listen to the rest of it. And yeah, it's really, really, it'd be very interesting to see how the songs that made it through, how much the production was on each one, if there is a correlation there or not. I don't know. You guys decide at home. You let us know what you think would happen. Right, we're going to move on now to Westworld's quiz. What have you got for us?
I've got a nice mid 2000s pop song quiz. So
Good luck.
is head to head. I'm going to read the question, and then as soon as you know the answer, shout it out.
Okay.
Which artist released "Since You Been Gone"?
Kelly Clarkson.
Correct.
I'm embarrassed. I'm going to know a lot of these, pal.
I'm gonna lose so hard at this. Like after 2010, I checked out. Bye, everyone. You know.
Hey There Delilah was a hit from which band?
Plain white tees.
You gotta be quick. Which artist released "Hips Don't Lie"?
Shakira.
Hero.
Pal got that. Pal got that.
Yeah.
You won. God, I'm embarrassed, guys. I'm answering this quicker than like most of the rock and rap ones we do.
You are very quick at that. Niles Barkley's massive 2000.
Sorry.
Niles Barkley's massive 2006 hit was called
Crazy.
Oh, I go points to Pal there. That's 2-2. Which boy band released "Bye Bye Bye"?
Backstreet.
Nope.
No. NSYNC?
Bye.
It is In Sync.
Wow.
Yeah.
Umbrella was a breakthrough hit for which singer?
Rihanna.
Oh, I'll give it to Josh there.
Actually, fun fact about Umbrella. It's a cover.
Is it? Is it?
Elvis Presley's got there's an Elvis version.
Wow. Now that is a great fact.
Yeah, I found that out by a taxi driver. I was literally with a taxi driver, and he was like, I don't know why Umbrella was playing on the radio. And he was like, there's an Elvis Presley version. And I'm like, oh.
Well, that's melted my brain, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Final question. It is currently 3-3. So let's this is the tiebreaker. I'm Yours is a 2008 hit by who?
Jason
Mraz.
Oh, that was close. Jill, we'll go do one more.
Okay, let's do it.
Which pop star released the album Future Sex Love Sounds?
Justin Timberlake.
Yep, spars there.
All right at the end.
Won it right in the depth, but like that album a lot. So yeah,
I saw him last year.
that's crazy.
Unbelievable. Well done. Pau wins the music quiz this week. Now we're going to do a new section. This is called the courtroom, and we're going to go through a music industry dispute. So we're going to pretend all three of us are in a big band. It's been very successful. However, the band has broken up. So it's going to come down to who should own the rights to the music. Is it in this case, Pau, you're going to be our singer. I'm going to be on drums. Westwell's going to be on guitars. Does it split equally? Does the songwriter / singer get the majority? We all need to pick our bits and argue against it. So I'm going to start with you, Westwell. As the guitarist, you've got the riffs. What percentage would you be looking at? What would you want?
I'm an honest man. I'd want a third.
Okay. Pau, you're the singer, songwriter, all of the music that's been written, it's yours. What would you want?
Now, when you say all the music that's been written is mine, are we talking about the composition, the chords? That's my thing, right? Because
Right. Chords. No, chords going to be Westwell. Westwell got that down in there.
Okay.
Composition. I'm open to discussion, pal. I'm open to discussion.
Right, that's my thing. Because if we wrote the song, so say we are in a band and we wrote the songs together, it would be a 3 split, right? But if you're in a band and you're coming, and you're kind of the leader in the band in the sense that you're the one saying like, "Come on, guys, let's meet up. This is the song. Let's do this," and pushing that. I would say that person needs to get a bigger split.
I would also say, right, in this scenario, if I'm the drummer, right, I'm not contributing musically. Maybe I've contributed more with the merch or the logistics or
No, but is there some upset drummers there?
Sorry,
Yeah,
Josh.
there were drummers in the comments are like, "You,
Josh has just said drummers do not contribute musically to the band.
we can swap them over for a for a drum
Drummers.
machine now."
I'm not losing out on my drummer fan base. No, what I'm saying is, as a drummer, let's say I'm not writing the songs, I'm not doing the chords. I've got a great drum beat on all our tracks, but I've contributed more to the merchandise, the logistics, the running of the band. Would a
Big
court
two.
order, would they potentially side with me and potentially the split? Or do you think they're coming down on the hanger going, no, it's going 3 ways?
I think it'd go down 3 ways.
Really?
Yeah, it's difficult.
Are you talking about the court, or we're talking about what is fair here?
I both, to be honest. I'd love to know what happened with the Beatles, and obviously Oasis split up for a while. Which, like, I can't see someone like Boneheads getting anywhere near as much as the Gallagher brothers.
Yeah, that's difficult, isn't it? When you've got like a band and very definitely like the front man is like the celebrity and the rest of the band are like, because as the front man, you can sit there and say like, we're kind of almost famous because of my stardom. So I can understand that argument from their point of view. And like, you might have been an incredible songwriter and turned up and written all the songs and then just performed them and gone home and done none of the like the press and all of that stuff. Just never engaged with any of that and actually tried to make a career of it. You could have just turned up and written the songs and gone away. But I think really, if you're in a band and you're all contributing to it, I mean, it's why it's so important to get that stuff sorted out quite early. But I think really it should go 3 ways. You can make the argument that none of it's going to be there if you're all into it in equal parts. So maybe
I'd love to know people in the comments watching this, like if with Oasis, Beatles, any other examples, let us know. Like, I genuinely, we'll talk about it next week. What has happened in the past? Is there any precedent of what's happened? Before we move on, Pau, how do you feel about it? Do you think we're both right here, the court and what's right? Do you think they're very different answers?
No, I agree. I mean, I would split it 3 ways probably, but I do get. I mean, there is a huge point in also like all the legwork behind the scenes, right? And in fact, I was in a band and I kind of left the band because of that, because I felt like I was doing a lot of like the legwork of the shit no musician wants to do, which is calling people up, sending emails, applying for festivals, applying for this, applying for that, and nobody wants, like, most musicians don't want to do that shit. So I do think that is very, within the musician community, it should be like very valued if you've got someone that will do that, because that is the name of the game, especially nowadays. Because I mean, your music can sound either really well or really ass, and you can make it based on hype.
Absolutely. It's a great point. We'll get people going in the comments and seeing what they think. Pau, thank you so much for coming on. All of our very, very loyal listeners, go listen to Pau Walters. The music's incredible. He's got a massive 2026 coming up. Tour, let's talk about that before we end. Where are you going? Where can people see you?
Well, I'm gonna be going around Spain. I'm gonna hit a few places in the UK, hopefully, a few places in Portugal, and just around Europe in general, whatever we can get. Also, if there's anyone that really likes the music and wants to, send me a DM and be like, there's this venue around here, we would love to have you here, boom, 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 bam. We can also look at that because we're still working on it. And yeah, you can find me pretty much everywhere: Instagram, YouTube, all of the big DSPs and all that, all of the more underground stuff. You'll always find something around, something special if you go to the more underground stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
and well worth going to see live. I've had the very pleasure at Wreckfest seeing you, Paul, and it was an absolute great experience. So if anyone gets a chance, go do it. For the artists at home, don't wait to be picked. Build something worth stealing. Your music is a business, so act like it. This has been Let's Start a Band. Westwell, what do we say?
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and tune in next week.